That.
So we'll go ahead and get started. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Lunch with Carole. I am so excited to let you know that we have another wonderful guest that is adding a lot of powerful and impactful programming to the Milwaukee area. This is all about recognizing positive people who are doing things that are good for the community. And I have Cherie Harris. She is the general manager of the Truth radio station 101.7 The Truth. And I am just, you know what, you've only been going about a year on all of this, and this is such a very, it's a challenging job. I have to ask you, first of all, Cherie, how are you doing?
Busy. Doing great, but very, very busy. Everything is going well. So every day is something new. So wonderful. Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm very happy to have you. And I think this is such an important venture for the Milwaukee area. You know, this is a station. Your goal is to really reach the target audience, the Black audience in Milwaukee, and really to let them have a voice, let us have a voice. Can you tell me, Cherie, why is this important, especially at this time when there's so much divisiveness in our country?
Yeah, and thank you for that question. I think it's always been important, but especially now because I think when the world slowed down, right, in 2020, a lot of things, was exposed, a lot of the ugliness of what was going on in our communities. And there were some great, great things that are going on in our community, but the opportunity was presented, well, we should have a voice. We should speak about what's going on when it comes to civil unrest, what's going on in education, and how can we have that voice where it's unfiltered. And so the opportunity presented itself where an audio platform such as The Truth will allow us to have that voice in a safe place. We call our safe space on our audio platform because we have callers who call in and we don't shut them down. And I thought that was important because most of the time things can be filtered or misconstrued. And we want to make sure our voices are shared and from different perspectives, especially now where there's a lot of exposure to what the pandemic has taught us, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It has shined a light on a lot of inequities within our country. And, one
Mhm.
thing, Cherie, I love the fact that the Truth also focuses on positive information. You want to get the word out that there are a lot of great things, great people going on right here, are happening right here in the Milwaukee area.
Yes, that was very important to me when we launched the station because I didn't want us to be viewed in a negative light. We're not all our culture is not always angry. I mean, yes, we have a very strong voice about certain things that are going on, but we also have some positive things that are happening. In the arts, there's a lot of positive things that are happening in the arts. In science, there's a lot of things happening in science that we want to be exposed to. There's a lot of positive things happening financially or to share information on how you can be financially stable. We have some great people here that are credible and reliable that can share information like that on The Truth. And I wanted to make sure that those key factors were shared on our platform when we launched it. I didn't want us to appear as if we're upset about what's going on with policing in our community, or we're upset at what's going on when it comes to the hiring process. There's some great things that we can share
Mhm.
as well.
We have to remember, and also we're not just one voice, we're not
Right.
a monolithic voice. And one thing the Truth does, you have people from all different sectors of the community to give their voices, which I think is good, because I think we have to hear a lot of different opinions, and not everybody agrees with everything just because you're the same color. We know that. So I
Right.
like that, the fact that you have that on the Truth. And also, I have to say, one of the most important things about being able to have this platform in the Milwaukee area is a lot of people just feel sometimes that they're just not seen, they're just not heard, and their voices don't matter. And
Right.
you're
And
it
yeah,
does.
I'm glad you brought that up because the voices on our station are, we call them unsung heroes. We made it our purpose to hire people that have a lot to say and
They do.
have a lot to say in the different areas, but not the same voices coming, from the same media. I think born and raised in Milwaukee, we're accustomed to hearing certain groups or certain people that's on radio and watching certain people on TV. And there's a lot of people that have not had the opportunity to express their media background or their gifts and talents. And so they leave the market and they try to explore different opportunities. And we're like, we have a great market here. We have some great things to share and great people to bring that information to the forefront. And so Kyle, who's our director of content, and myself, we kind of dug a little deep and just to bring it the everyday, your next door neighbor on the truth.
Yeah.
That's someone you could just relate to.
Yeah, and sometimes you feel like you're just sitting down at your
Yeah.
family dinner table and having a conversation, which is something we all need to do on a regular basis. And also, Cherie, one of the things that I love about the truth is the fact that most, you've got a lot of people that have a lot of differing opinions, but I don't hear people being shut down. I don't hear people being hung up on. I don't hear people even being denigrated. People are allowed to express themselves. And I think that's very important because we've gotten into an age where sometimes it seems like people don't want to hear differing opinions. And I don't hear that negative vibe coming from the truth at all.
Oh, we love it. We love when people call in and want to add to the conversation. One, it builds content. And two, it just gives that person, that next door neighbor, I call them, an opportunity to share their truth. There are those who just want to listen and just tune in, and they can listen for 11 hours. I mean, we have
that's a lot.
People that listen from 7 a to 6 p. But there are those people that want to just call in and say, I disagree with you. I think we should talk about it this way, or I want to address what you said because I'm not sure. Help me understand. And we let them have that conversation.
Yes.
And not a lot of times we learn from our callers and what they share with us. And I find that to be fascinating, educational, and wanted.
Yes, and I think the respect is important between the people you have on the air and the callers. So I love that about the truth. And also, I have to ask you now, Cherie, we have talked about this in the past, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you are the only African American general manager of a radio station in Wisconsin. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I think there's one more
female, I should say too.
Yeah, I think there's maybe one more female, but for talk, 11 hours. So talk, no, without music, Black talk.
Yeah, just total. Okay. Okay, yeah, we have to research that because I was trying to mention that before. But anyhow, congratulations, because it's a difficult job. It's a lofty challenge, but you've taken it on with such a pomp, and congratulations.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Just when you put it that way, it's unbelievable sometimes that I'm sitting in a chair and making decisions that affect the community, that affects our platform and what we put out there. But it really is a team effort. It really is. We have great resources and a wonderful team that help us along the way to build that content and make sure we build relationships in the community in the right way. So I don't want to take all the credit, but I'll take it today.
Okay. Hey, you better take it when you get it. That's what I think.
Right.
And also, and for people who might want to enter management in media, do you have any advice for younger people? Because I was reading, you have a master's from Cardinal Stritch. You have had a very extensive sales background, including pharmaceutical sales and another TV station.
Yes, thank you. It all starts with education, I think. I attended UW-Whitewater, and I found my passion to be in media. I found my passion to tell stories, and I was actually was a general manager for a couple of shows at school for my grade, and I felt great about it. Trust the instincts. If you feel like this is something you're passionate about and you can drink, eat, and sleep, do it. Don't give up. I know that in media, it's very critical. There's a lot of criticism. There's a lot of hurdles. Being an African-American woman, you have to jump over those hurdles. And I always say, I tell my staff, we have to perform at 110% or higher. And you just have to accept that and to do your best and give it your all. But if you feel strong and passionate about your career, knock down those doors. You don't have to check every box in media, But if you checked 1 or 2, find out how you can check 3 or 4 and network with people and to get your name out there. That's how I did it. And I was actually referred by a friend who's been in media for a long time. She put my name in a hat. And I was like, what? Do you think I could be a GM of a radio station? And I was thinking, why not?
Why not?
You know, who am I to say no to my own dream? So that's just keep
Amen.
doing it. Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, I'm talking to Cherie Harris. She is the general manager of 101.7 The Truth, and she has been doing this for almost a year. The year anniversary is approaching, and Cherie, you're making a lot of strides and a lot of inroads and really giving some great programming and some great dialogue that we need in the Milwaukee area. And sometimes the conversations are difficult, but you're doing it very well. If you do have a question, if you have a comment, you can feel free to notify us on this Facebook Live. We'd love to answer any question you might have. Now, Cherie, I also understand. I know that you've been in sales for most of your career, but one of the things about sales, and this is something I like to tell young people, sales is really the genesis of all business, and it's very important. A lot of people say, "Oh, sales," but I sold once, and I learned something very important, that if you can sell well, you can do anything. And that is the most important job. And because you learn so much, what would you say to young people who might, say, "Oh, I don't want to go into sales"?
I will say you're selling now. If you're in an interview, you're selling yourself. If you're out there, younger generations, when you're in school and you're negotiating the grade with your professor, you're selling then. You're selling the opportunity to do better. You're always in sales, no matter what role you're in. It's building relationships, and just I would say just make sure that you're honest in your approach. People buy you. They relate to the person that they're selling. I mean, we buy bottled water in a bottle you can get from a sink, but it all is how you approach the sales technique, on how you sell the bottled water. But they're buying the person, the personality behind that bottled water. And that's what I say. It's not the easiest job, but if you feel good about what you're selling and you believe in what you're selling, it comes natural.
Yes, and I've told many classes that some of the best advice I ever got or learned was from sales seminars that I had to take when I was selling. And I happen to have been selling pianos back in the day, 1,000 years ago. But I learned so much from that. So it's just a lesson that I like young people to think about. Don't say, "Oh, I don't want to do sales," because if you do it well, there's nothing you can't do. So.
Right. And sales grows into many opportunities. When I started in sales, and I was the same way, like I can't sell because I'm afraid to talk in public. I thought I was afraid to talk in public until, you start doing it. And then it all comes in practice, and I will practice in the mirror. I will create a script, or I will give myself notes, like this is what I'm going to say. Here are the key points I'm going to express in that sales presentation. Just like you would if you prepare for an interview, the key things you're going to express about yourself. And I always say to those who are starting in the industry, like in sales, just be yourself. That's all it takes. I hire people based on, I look more like their soul, so to speak. Like they could tell me all the great things they've done in media, all the technical terms they could share with me, but I want to hear the passion in your voice. I want to hear the belief that you value what you're selling, and just tell me about the most difficult time that you encountered in your sales approach and how you overcame that sales approach, and what have you learned. If you learn from your experience and you're doing better, then it's a no-brainer for me.
I love it. Very good advice. And also, don't forget rejection. You're going to be
Right.
rejected your whole life. Just say, move on to the next. That's what I always think. It's part of life. Well, I know that your boss is now Steve Wexler, who used to be my boss here at the TV station. And not only is he brilliant, but he's smart, and he's a good boss, a good guy. And you have to enjoy working for someone like him.
Yeah, he's a great coach and a great mentor. Wex, he's funny. He will say, "So, what do Black people think when it comes to this? or are we doing the right thing? Or can you help me understand why a certain song doesn't resonate with this culture, your culture?" And I said, I can't answer that because it's not my culture. I can't answer for Cherie, but not for everybody. But I bring that up as an example because he's honest, he's humble.
Yes. Yes.
He just wants to learn, and he wants to help us grow. He gives us the tools to do that. And under, the truth is under Good Karma Brands, and I just feel like the managers that we report to feel the same way. They just want us to be successful. If we're successful, then that company rises, right? And so they just give us the tools and we take off with it. And what I appreciate about it, he lets me fall down when when I don't understand. I bump into walls and then help me learn after that. Just doesn't set my hand like, shame on you.
I like it, but it's a lesson. And Wex is a great guy, but and Good Karma Brands, their emphasis on diversity. That is something that we need in this country because we have to just have the conversation. Because sometimes we just don't understand each other and just ask directly. And I like that, So that's a learning. What have you learned most this past year? What's the most important lesson that you've learned, Cherie, as general manager of The Truth?
That I can't do everything myself.
Delegate.
Right, to ask, delegate, not to pretend you know something when you don't know. It's okay to not know everything, and it's okay not to do it all yourself. I think as Black women, I would say we're head of the household. I would say that because we try to control everything and we want to manage everything, and we do that at work too. And sometimes we need help, and it's okay to ask for help. So I learned in this role to ask for help.
Very smart. And I think all of us have to remember we don't know everything, but what we know we can share and we can ask for help, like you say. And I'm just so happy, proud of you, thrilled to be able to talk to you, Cherie, because I think not only you breaking barriers, but you're building bridges. And those are two things that are so important for now and for the future. So continued success. Congratulations. And thank you all for joining me for Lunch with Carole. We'll be doing this next week at 12:30 for another special guest. So stay tuned and have a wonderful day, Cherie. I know you're getting ready to go out of town, so travel wisely and safely.
Thank you. I appreciate your time today. Thank you, everyone.